In a modest adobe home on the outskirts of a dusty frontier town, Silas Macready, a reserved but well-respected farmer, received a letter that would spark a series of unforeseen events. The letter, penned in flowing cursive on cream-coloured paper, came from Miss Lucinda Bell, a woman of quiet courage and earnest hope. She implored Silas to consider her as a wife, promising not only her undying loyalty, but also the tender solace of a kind heart, a rarity in the hardened world of the West. With trembling hands, Silas unfolded the delicate parchment and read the lines that spoke of long nights spent dreaming of a future built on honest love and mutual trust. However, when the day of their arranged meeting arrived, fate had its own plans. The moment Silas laid eyes on Lucinda, something in him recoiled. He found himself unable to reconcile the enchanting image crafted by her words with the physical appearance before him. A striking woman with deep, dark red hair reminiscent of a witch's tresses, a hue that seemed to carry an air of both mystery and omens. "Forgive me, Miss Bell," Silas uttered with a tone that was as cold as the desert night, "but I cannot see past that fire in your hair. It is as though you are touched by sorcery, and I fear such enchantment." With that chilling dismissal, Silas turned his back. Lucinda, dismayed and shunned for her natural beauty, which the man misunderstood as wickedness, left the modest town square in tears, her heart heavy as she trudged along the dusty road. Lucinda's despair led her to the outskirts of the town, where the wind's mournful wail was the only companion in her solitude. It was then that a rumble of hooves and the distant clamour of cattle heralded the arrival of a man whose reputation preceded him, a strong, rugged cowboy named Jeremiah "Jeer" Kane. Known across the county as a man who could break a wild stallion with a single lashing glance, and adored by nearly all the women of the town for his undeniable charm and formidable presence, Jeer was an enigma himself. Jeremiah, with a broad-brimmed hat shadowing keen, piercing eyes, was riding down the main thoroughfare when he spotted Lucinda, alone and seemingly abandoned by fortune. His steed slowed to a gentle canter as he dismounted beside her. "What brings you here, miss?" he inquired, his voice as gruff as the stone ridges that dotted the horizon, yet there was an unmistakable warmth underneath his rough exterior. Barely able to conceal the tremor in her voice, Lucinda recounted her ill-fated encounter with Silas. Jeremiah listened intently, his strong hands tightening around the reins of his horse, and his eyes darkening as he absorbed her sorrow. In that moment he decided that no woman should face the wilderness alone in both body and spirit. As the night deepened and the cool air brought whispers of promise, Jeremiah made an offer that would change the course of Lucinda's fate. "Come," he said, gesturing toward his modest yet inviting ranch on the far side of the valley. "In my home, you will have shelter, a warm meal, and a place where you can find work. In return, I ask merely that you lend your hands to our daily chores on the farm." Lucinda hesitated, knowing that pride and desperation warred within her. The memory of Silas's callous rejection burned in her mind, yet the kindness in Jer's eyes offered a beacon in the darkness of her disappointment. With a heavy heart clouded by necessity, she agreed. The initial days on Jeremiah's sprawling ranch were a lesson in the quiet rhythm of hard work. Under the endless blue of the western sky, Lucinda found herself drenched in sweat and dust as she learned the intricate dance of daily chores, mending fences, tending to the livestock, and tending to the scattered crops that clung stubbornly to life under the sun's relentless gaze. Jeremiah was a man of few words, known among the locals as the Minister of Women, for his notorious ways of seducing and capturing the hearts of any lady who crossed his path. Yet it was this very paradox that defined him, a man both revered and feared for his unwavering strength, rough manners, and yet an unspoken tenderness reserved for those in genuine need. In the cadence of shared work and quiet companionship, the harshness of the days began to soften. Lucinda found that within the sturdy walls of the farmhouse, there was an unexpected tenderness in Jeremiah's way of speaking, gruff words softened by a gentle concern, sincere gestures that belied his hardened exterior. A shy smile, a reassuring nod, and even the smallest act of kindness sparked something unknown between them. Long before the letter that led her west, Lucinda Bell had lived a quiet life in the port town of Ashbrook, nestled along the eastern seaboard. A schoolteacher by profession, she had carried herself with dignity and grace, but beneath her calm exterior lingered a lifelong curse, the colour of her hair. In a town steeped in superstition, her deep auburn locks were a subject of murmured rumours and sideways glances. Some whispered she was a witch, others said she brought storms when she wept. The cruelest of these accusations came from a jealous rival, Martha Cleary, a widow with influence who resented Lucinda's natural beauty and the quiet admiration she received from others. It was Martha who sowed the seeds of distrust, and in time, the school board began to doubt Lucinda's moral influence. She was dismissed without ceremony, her name tarnished by whispers and fear. Devastated and alone, Lucinda left Ashbrook behind, boarding a train headed west, with the hope that the frontier might offer what the polished cobblestones of her old town never could, a fresh beginning. With every mile she let go of the pain, burying the memories of how easily good people could turn cold when guided by ignorance and envy. She carried with her only a suitcase, a locket bearing her mother's portrait, and the letter she would send to Silas Macready, a man who, she hoped, might judge her not by her hair or her past, but by the heart she longed to give. One evening, as the sky exploded in hues of purples and oranges, Lucinda and Jeremiah found themselves seated on the creaking wooden porch. The steady hum of cicadas mingled with the distant lowing of cattle, creating a lullaby that invited confessions. With the weight of solitude lifted by shared silences, Jeremiah admitted, "I've always been seen as a man of passion, a man whose ways lead many astray. But in you, I see something pure that calls me to be more than just a rogue." Lucinda's eyes glimmered with both surprise and hope. "I never thought love could bloom in the harshest places," she whispered, her voice blending with the twilight.